Welcome, and thank you guys for joining us today for our new knowledge session. This is our series of professional development workshops to support business owners, nonprofits, and citizens in not only Washington County, but around the Commonwealth. Our friend Sandy Ratliff insisted on using online presentations for new knowledge to reach a global audience, and this is now one of the longest running professional education classes online. My name is Billy Roberts. I'm with Locus, and if you're not familiar with us, we're a community development financial institution, and we provide lending, investing, and community innovation services here in Southwest Virginia and around the state. We're happy to partner with the Washington County Chamber of Commerce, Virginia Highlands Small Business Incubator, and the town of Abingdon to present this business and organization skill development. This program was started in 2014 to support the Washington County Business Challenge competitors and has become one of the oldest running business training programs in Virginia. Today's session is titled Using Canva for DIY Photo and Video Content, and this session will be recorded for training and educational purposes. We will also try to keep within our hour goal. So we have everyone muted, I think. But if you have questions or anything like that, I'll be happy to help moderate those via the chat. So you guys can put your questions there. Let's welcome Alexandra Veach, the CEO and Creative Director for Letterpress Communications. Alex serves as the CEO and Creative Director, like I just said, home-based in Southwest Virginia. Alex has a passion for rural communications and economic development. Over the last 15 years, she has served organizations across Southwest Virginia in a wide range of industries, including higher education, mental health, tourism, community development, and outdoor rec. Letterpress Communications is a boutique marketing agency that's based out of Farmville, Virginia, with offices in Marion and Stanton. Letterpress specializes in rural, community-powered marketing, serving a wide range of industries across the Commonwealth and into North Carolina. By focusing on community, Letterpress helps their clients leverage the power of their teams and their stories to create growth and ultimately good for their community. Welcome, Alex, and thank you for spending time with us today.
Thanks, Billy. I'm happy to be here. So I am excited to talk to you all today about Canva. I hope that many of you are already utilizing this tool. I will say this is not a paid promotion. I get no kickbacks from Canva. We have just found that this is a great opportunity for small businesses, nonprofit organizations, small teams to really be able to level up their branding and create consistent branding across their team and harness the power of your internal team to make sure that you are putting your best foot forward visually with your branding. So today we are going to talk about Canva for photography and videography. If you are interested in Canva for graphic design and kind of creating visual, like static visuals, there is a workshop that I did last year that is on the New Knowledge YouTube channel. So I encourage you to check that out. And also anything we talk about today, Canva has a wealth of educational materials. And there is a lot on YouTube. So Google University is a real thing. So if you get stuck somewhere, Google it, because I would bet you $5 that there is a creator out there who has talked about how to do some of these things. So utilize those educational pieces from Canva and from content creators out there. We're going to get started real quick, getting to know you a little bit. I want to make sure that I'm tailoring this presentation to your needs. So if you would take a few minutes to put in the chat who you are, what you do, because we have learned that what you do doesn't always relate to your title. Most of us do all kinds of different things that don't always fall under our title. And then what does success look like in utilizing Canva for your organization, especially with creating visuals? So if you'll take a minute just to kind of put in the chat who you are, what you do, and what does success look like in Canva. Jay, thank you. Digital ads, Google ads. We have created some Google ads in Canva. It's great for resizing all of your images. Melba, awesome. Retired teacher, Canva is great technology. So whether you are doing something for work or just creating something fun for your grandkids, there's lots to do in Canva. Sydney HR, utilizing Canva with your team. Awesome. Yes, now they're all rolling in. Marlena, yes, Canva for any kind of marketing, you're going to see this is a very flexible tool. Rita with the library, thank you. Lisa, I love that you all are utilizing Canva for your team break rooms. That's fantastic. You can do static things and motion things in Canva. So we'll look at those motion things today. Billy, thank you. Brittany, utilizing it for student and family engagement. Awesome. JC, welcome. New to Canva. That is great. I love it. Boys and Girls Club, utilizing Canva for marketing materials. Natalie, welcome from Emory and Henry. Yes, there's definitely some usage you all can use on campus and in your marketing. Billy, that's great. Used it for your website running for a local election. Awesome. So there's all kinds of personal and professional uses for Canva. Thank you all for taking a few minutes to put who you are in the chat. It's always nice to see who I'm talking to. Um, Here is our team. So as Billy mentioned, we are home based out of Farmville, Virginia. I'm here in Southwest Virginia. But we are a team of 10 full-time employees, all of us creative implementers, and we utilize Canva ourselves for our marketing. If you ever seen any of our case studies or anything we've printed, we are actually doing that for ourselves in Canva. So that way our team can participate in marketing our business. The cobbler's children usually have no shoes. So we struggle ourselves to get our marketing put together and out. And so we really make it a team effort. And so you're learning, getting some of our learnings from Canva usage as a team today. All right. Let's start with some basics. So with photography and videography, equipment is essential. A little bit goes a long way. The wonderful thing is we all have a high-powered camera in our pockets now. It is insane what has happened with technology, and you really don't need to have a high-end camera to create good visuals for your website, for your social channels. I myself have actually stopped using a digital DSLR, and I just use my Google Pixel. So it's amazing what you can do if you know what you have in your pocket. So know your phone, learn the settings, learn the functionality, take some time to actually dive into the capabilities of your camera app. There's a lot of little settings that you can tweak to make sure that you're getting high quality, high definition video and photos. So take the time to kind of go through those tutorials on your phone, learn your settings, know what capabilities you have. I feel like a lot of us have gotten to learn how our phones work with the recent Northern Lights. So, now we all know that a lot of our cameras have nighttime exposure, long exposure. So just playing around with your phone and your camera is super important. Understand the principles. We're going to talk about the rule of thirds here in a minute, and pick up some helpful equipment. So we'll talk about equipment and then practice. Practice makes perfect. So even if you're just at your child's t-ball game, take a few minutes to stop and capture some video, capture some photography, and really play around with how you're using it. So there's a few things you can add to your phone to elevate what you're doing. This is especially important with videography. So for less than, I think all of these things you probably could get less than $150 on Amazon, will help get amazing results with your phone. So consider a tripod or something to stabilize your phone. If you're just kind of getting started and you're not ready to invest in equipment, it can be as simple as a stack of books and a vase, and you're putting your phone on that stack of books in the vase, and you're going to record yourself. An external light goes a long way, so you can kind of double dip. You're seeing a light ring there. If you watch any TikTok videos of influencers, all those makeup tutorials, if you see that little ring of light in their eyes, they're using a ring light. And so this is a great way to ensure that you've got good lighting no matter where you're at. If you're doing product photography or videography, a light box goes a long way. So these little pop-up boxes that you plug in, it's going to light your background, give you an all-white background if you are a small business and you're selling online or setting up little vignettes to put on your website or on social media. The light box is super helpful. And then something I recommend for everybody to have is a microphone with a windscreen. It goes a long way. You can, these are all Bluetooth capable now. Literally clip it to your shirt, and it's just going to elevate the audio that you're getting. Or if you're doing something that has no verbal words to it and you're just doing like a natural sounds video out in the wild, it's going to help pick up bird noises and the wind and those sorts of things. So that microphone will really elevate your video quality. And honestly, that's the one piece with our phones that has not kind of kept up. Our microphones are not as good as our cameras. So just giving that little extra boost to your phone will go a long way. So I always like to start with the basics. For visuals, photography, and videography, we're really looking at the rule of thirds. And so the rule of thirds is this. Some of you may have noticed that when you first got your phone, it had this grid on it. If you don't have the grid, you can activate the grid on your phone. But the idea that a visually pleasing setup fits into the rule of thirds. And so you can see in this drawing, the sun is up in the top third on one side, and the person is in the bottom third on the other, and the horizon is following along that lower third. So breaking it up horizontally and vertically into the thirds really helps you capture a good video or photo. And here we can see it in action. And so it's really tempting to always center everything. But a good cheat for that, a visually pleasing video or photo, actually puts different elements into the different thirds. So instead of just centering that little girl in the middle, having it off to the side, then you've got kind of that rock or clump of seaweed in the other side, and you have a very simple yet strongly captured and visually interesting photo. So I highly recommend turning the rule of thirds on your phone, or anything you're using to capture video. It's just going to help make things easier. So again, putting this into practice, dividing your photo, using the viewfinder into those zones, using the horizontal and vertical lines, turn on that rule of thirds grid. Some phones now even have larger grids, but I always recommend starting with the thirds, those 9 quadrants is a good place to start. Place your main subject in one of those 4 intersection points, and then move your camera slowly up and down to see where the thirds are landing and where your heaviest visual elements are. And a strong photo or video is really curated and you've set it up for success. You kind of don't want to do all your editing in post. But if you have to, if you've taken something before and you want to edit it down, you can edit in the rule of thirds as well. So, looking at that when you're cropping something, look at those and place those same principles into your editing. Some tips and tricks. So as some of these I just mentioned, framing each photo as if you weren't relying on editing in post. I took black and white photography in high school and college, and I always think about what it took to put that photo into the dark room and edit it. So think about what you're setting up, what you're taking, thinking about it as if you didn't have the option to edit it afterwards. Take more than one shot. Especially with video, it's super easy to think, yeah, we got it, it's all good. And then you're putting together your reel and you want to put a cool little transition in, and you don't have enough B-roll to cushion the video. So when you're taking a video, start your camera, pause for a few seconds, then start recording, and then at the end, stop, pause for a few more seconds, pause until it's uncomfortable, actually. And that's going to give you enough padding to do editing, to put transitions over top of your video. There is never not enough B-roll. You want to make sure you have so much that you end up not using half of it, because it's always the times that you don't have it is when you need it. Take your photos from a different perspective. I don't, if any of you have kids, it's always amazing what happens when a kid runs off with your phone and you get some just amazing photos because they're shorter than you are. They're seeing the world from a different perspective. So next time or at Thanksgiving next week with your family, take the time to squat down and take a photo from a lower position or get up on a chair and take a photo from a higher position. Take your videos and photos from a different perspective, and you'll be amazed at some of the results. Get close to people. Don't rely on the Zoom. Digital Zoom doesn't always do well. So sometimes actually just moving closer to somebody is going to help create a better photo or video. Play with your shutter speeds as well as some of those options. So again, that's getting to know your phone, making sure that you know what those different speeds and different settings are going to do. Stabilizing your phone, so that's where the tripod comes in handy, or just even anchoring yourself. So if you're out in the woods and trying to take a nice video on a hiking trail, just leaning against a tree is going to stabilize you, which will again lead to less shaky video. If you don't have a light ring or a good light source, use natural light, get near a window, go outside. I'll show you an example here in a little bit of a reel that our company did, and it's really simple. I mean, it's just outside. We added some little bit extra to it, and it turned out great. So, and know that casual is okay. When you're creating, especially for social media, it does not have to be super high end. When you need that super high end video, that's when you hire somebody to help you with it. But you can create really great content for everyday social use, and casual is okay. So don't put a lot of pressure on yourself to make something that just looks super stunning. People actually like that more casual, um, authentic feel when it comes to creating video. And again, practice, practice, practice. So now what? You have some photos you've taken, you have some videos you've taken. What do you do with everything? And this is where people tend to go sideways. So first things first, think about how you're going to stay organized. Where are you saving your digital collateral? What's the easiest way to get to your photos on your device? And then onto your channels. So think through what works for you and for your organization. Are you Microsoft or Google? Are you storing things in Google Drive or OneDrive? Are you utilizing Dropbox? Are you using an iPhone versus a Google phone? Think it's amazing how often somebody's like, I took video and now I don't know how to get it onto my computer. So think through whether your stuff is uploading directly to the cloud. Are you organizing in Canva? Are you utilizing Adobe and storing things in Creative Cloud? Um, Google Photos, Amazon Photos. Think through all of those things and figure out a process to get it to your organization. So especially if it's not just you who's going to need those photos, making sure that when you are capturing an event or you've done some great product photography for your business, that you are immediately uploading it and giving everybody access to it. Do you have permission to share? So this is something that we always like to remind people of. Um, it is super easy in today's world to take a photo of somebody and put it on social media. But did they agree to that? So for your business, for your organization, did you take the photo? Did your subject agree to have the photo used? So think through even just a simple waiver for capturing photos and videos. I mean, seriously can be as simple as collecting somebody's name, their address, their email address, the date, their signature, and with a little statement of where you're going to utilize their image and having them sign off on it. It can be very helpful down the road. There is a difference between capturing public events and crowds versus individuals. So when you're capturing an individual and you can see their face, you really want to get a waiver. Let's say you're capturing something and you get the back of somebody's head. You don't necessarily have to have a waiver for that. But if they knew you were taking the photo, it's always good to get the waiver. Now, when you're capturing an event or a crowd, in Virginia specifically, there are laws around public events and being on public property and taking photos of crowds, there is an inherent implication that you're going to have your photo taken when you go to a public event. So, or even a paid for event. So that's less of a worry on waivers. But again, if you're getting somebody's face, you want to think about getting a waiver for them. User generated content. So if any of you all have sat through our social media workshop, we talk a lot about user generated content. It is a great way to elevate your social channels, sharing and asking for people to send you photos. We we were just working with a client who we collected photos of pets. People love seeing animal photos. So we asked people to share photos of their pets in this specific location, and we got a ton of them. And so when you get that, ask for permission to use it. So when you're asking people to share, make sure that you're saying, hey, send us your photos. We're going to share them on our page. And then if you, oh, we have something in the chat. Yes, also be cautious about taking photos of children, whether they are other people's or your own. That is very important. And so that waiver, if you have taken a photo of a child, having that section for the parent to sign off on the utilization of that photo is very important. If you are sharing something from a community partner or something like that, share their photo and give them photo credit. We love to use the little photo icon and then tag them in it. People love to see their content being utilized, but make sure that you're giving that proper credit. And then on professional shoots, always get waivers. It is really important. Like if you're going to take the time to have a professional photo shoot done, professional videography work done, get that waiver, have an extra person on site who's that is their sole job, is to make sure that everybody who's been captured has a waiver. And if you're going to hire somebody, ensure that you own the images at the end of the project. That's not always the case with professional organizations. So sometimes they may only give you 10 photos, but make sure you understand the terms of the agreement that you're in. Ask for B-roll and raw images, because that photo and video shoot could lead to items that you could be utilizing in Canva to make reels and things after that. And then check your funding source requirements. We often work, especially in the region, with grants required or with grant funding. And so find out if you have to share photos and videos with your funding source or anything like that when you're working in a grant project, especially. Any questions so far? All right. What would you all like to see in Canva? We'll take a look at this snippet that I mentioned we created. And so this is what video editing looks like in Canva. So it is, and we will play it real quick so you can see.
We believe when you bring powerful teams together,
Thanks,
telling
Kelly.
powerful, authentic stories of abundance, you end up with powerful growth and powerful good. And that's what's at the heart of community-powered marketing. And that is true for so many of our clients, and it's also true for letterpress communications. So in 2021, we actually doubled in size, and we hit $1 million in sales. That had never been in any of my plans. When I finished my startup course through Longwood SBDC, I didn't have it down as a 10-year plan even. But there we were in 2021. And in 2022, we maintained that same amount of sales and also grew on it. So I will consider it not a blip. Here we are, $1 million company, not anything I was ever anticipating. And that's so much due to the trust and engagement of this community here in Farmville, as well as our clients. But letterpress has also grown beyond Farmville. We now have an office in Stanton, Virginia. We've had an office here for a couple of years now through the Stanton Innovation Hub, which we love. And we are looking to opening a new office in Southwest Virginia. So Alex Veach is joining us from Marion, and we are working now to find a physical location, most likely in the Marion area, to serve our clients down there. We have a couple of signed contracts, which is really exciting. And we're excited to bring this vision of community powered marketing, and especially how impactful it can be for rural communities, to the rest of Virginia. So powerful teams, powerful stories leads to powerful growth. And that growth could not happen without community.
All right, so you can see that was a really simple video. We had added that was just the video. And then in the end, we have this little snippet here where it goes to, I'll play from here.
We believe when you bring,
and so it's not going to do it. So you can see that it closes out to a slide that just says community powered marketing. So simple. She was outside. We didn't add anything else to it. It doesn't have to be crazy fancy, but you can do some really great work in Canva. Jay, that's a great question. Is there an ideal length for a reel? This was not an ideal length for a reel. This was some older content. Right now, short form video should be around 30 seconds to a minute. This was a minute 47, which is a bit long. So you want to kind of keep it short, but we didn't have a great place to cut this. So that's also something to keep into consideration as well, that, you don't want to cut something short just because of that 30-second window. Natalie, you put in the chat that you are posting more on your nursing social media sites and you want people to see what nursing students are doing. That is great. I think video is a great way to do that. You could use something like social media takeovers where you have nursing students actually show people what a day in the life is. Those videos do really well, and people love to get an insight into people's lives. So with this, I wanted to show you all just a little bit of how you edit in Canva. And for this, it's as simple as putting your video in. Let's say we wanted to add to the end of this. We're going to add another page to it. You can change the background color. You can do all sorts. We'll leave it orange here for a second. I'll show you something interesting. Canva, if you're using Canva Pro, has quite a lot of B-roll content that you can use. And so let's say that we wanted to add in a video, and we'll just kind of see what it's showing. Since we're looking at snow for this week in Southwest Virginia, we'll pull in this has nothing to do with the video, but since we're all thinking about snow, we'll pull in some B-roll video. And you can see that Canva is showing you all sorts of new AI options. So as you're getting familiar with Canva, start using some of these AI tools, and they're going to automatically pop up for you, and you can see what some of those options are. But Canva for video functions just like as if you were designing. So we have the video pulled in. You can update and edit, and you can kind of crop right within the video. And so just like a photo, now you can take even something horizontal and turn it into something vertical. So when you're creating for social, you want to primarily use vertical video. You can even use vertical video now with YouTube. So there's options there. If you're creating something for your website or a longer form video that you're going to place on YouTube, you'll want to use a horizontal shape. But since we're looking at social and a reel, you can see it's putting this in here. We're getting some options to auto trim, to grab the highlights of the video. But what's really neat is to edit the video, you literally edit it here. So if you want to shorten, let's say we really like from here to here, and we just want, now we know we have 6 seconds of a clip. You edit it right in there, and you have updated your video. And so you can see it's looping at the moment. Some other neat things. So let's say, have you all seen some of the reels where there's somebody talking and they have put a background behind them? So I see a lot of this with like influencer reels are talking about destinations. So especially those Disney adults, they'll put a background of the Magic Kingdom behind them and then have a cutout of themselves talking. And so that's actually something that you can do in Canva as well. So let's just grab a B-roll of just somebody talking. We're not even really worried about what she's saying at the moment. But you can take this, adjust it, and you can actually cut out the background. And so now you have a video of somebody talking.
We believe.
Oh, I want to just start here. So now we have a video of somebody talking over a background image. Yeah. Well, so what else would you all like to see and know how to do in Canva? Jean, great question. How to fit a photo into a standard size frame. So this is actually something great and easy. I do this all the time when I'm printing photos at home. So let's pop out. And so let's say you have an 8x10 photo that you want to print out and frame. And so at our homepage, you're going to want to create something custom sized. And since we are doing something for print, we will do it in inches. And we will put our width. So our width is 8 inches by 10 inches. And you'll see that Canva starts to give you some options of things that they think you might be creating as well. So once you get into different sizes, you'll actually see some suggestions and you might find some templates that you like. But let's say that we are literally just changing something for print. We're going to hit create new design. And now we have an 8x10 artboard. Let's just grab a little photo here. And since we're coming up on Thanksgiving, we'll see if we can find a family at Thanksgiving. So let's say, oh, look, we've captured a great photo, but it doesn't necessarily fit that frame. And actually, this is more of a horizontal photo. So one thing that we can do is resize the artboard to be horizontal instead of vertical. So let's say we have a picture frame that can go either way. We're going to just literally swap the size here. And we're going to resize this design. So now we have it redesigned, and Canva does some really great things for you. They do not allow you really to distort your photos. So it's actually very, very hard to mess up a photo. And so when you are dragging in Canva, you literally drag by the corners and it's not going to allow you to distort your photo. So it's going to start doing some automatic cropping for you. And again, this is, if you wanted every single person in this photo, I would probably say, let's find a different frame. But let's say this is where we're at. And let's say that the kids on this side of the table are a little more important than the guests on the other side of the table. So what I did here was double click into the frame, and then it is giving me some crop options. And so you can kind of slide around, and we're just going to kind of crop out some of our folks on the edge so the photo isn't weird. So we've just kind of gotten the noses off the little girl, and then grandpa over here are now out of the photo, and you just have this type photo. So let's say you love this, you're ready to print. You'll go to share. And the best way to print these things is to download them and honestly print them as a PDF. If you're doing PDF for printing, you'll want to include crop marks, because what this is going to do is when we download this, it's going to show it. You're going to have your crop marks to it. So that way you can cut the picture correctly and not have any edges to it. And then when you print it from your PDF reader, you want to click actual size, and then that's going to print it just as an 8x10 photo for you. Jean, did that answer all your questions? I hope so.
Hi.
Jay, Google.
I
Oh, go ahead.
sorry. I was thinking more of like our flyers, how we have that standard frame at the top of the picture of what describes the topic for like our new knowledge. And
Yeah.
sometimes I'll have a picture and I have to fit it into that frame, but the image that I've selected has a lot of wording kind of surrounding the picture or something like that. And when I tried to fit it into that um, rectangular size that's standard in our uh, on our flyers, it cuts out a lot of stuff
Yeah. I totally get what you're
that I don't
saying.
want
That's
cut out.
super. Yes, yes. Let's find a design here and we'll find something that we can edit within. Okay. So I'm hoping this will be a good template. Canva has a ton of templates. So also if you're looking for something like a photo collage or things like that, take a look. So all of these are photo frames. And so we'll delete the photo out of it. We'll go back to our little Thanksgiving family photo here. So when you're adding a photo into a frame, into a design in Canva, you can drag and drop, and it's going to try to give you a good crop to start. So again, just like we did before, you'll double click into it, and that's how you can move and change your photo around. If you have some play in the photos that you're looking for, so let's say you're going to use a stock image for something. Jean, what's the next workshop coming up? What's the theme of the next workshop?
Oh, sorry. I had my audio off. Our next new knowledge is actually letterpress again for
Oh,
digital advertising. What's new with Meta and Google?
great. All right. So we're looking for a stock photo on digital advertising. When you're looking for a stock photo, you can actually click here and you can choose different orientations. So if you want to find something if you know you have a rectangle box, you know you have a square, we have a square in this case, you can actually click and look for a square image. And it gave us several options. So this one's great. This kind of just a little desk photo. You can take that and drop it in and it's already working for you. Let's say that you found one that you found one that you wanted to use, but it doesn't fit. Again, just like we were looking at with the Thanksgiving photo, you'll drag and drop it in there, double click, and then you can reorient your photo, um, change the cropping on it, and rework it within the frame. Does that answer that, Jean?
Yeah, I'll work on it.
Okay, awesome. All right. Jay, you mentioned a Google display ad. Tell me the size of Google display ad. 300 by 300. Thank you. Oh, Liz has a question here real quick. The size options on the last thing. So when you are creating, Lisa, are you asking on the artboard itself or on the photo? Feel free to unmute if that's helpful. Oh, when to square from vertical. Yes. So that was literally just in the options here when we're looking in elements. You're looking for something in digital advertising. We're looking for a photo. Up here in those three little bars is where you can hunt for specific colors. You can look for the orientation of the photo. You can choose between static and animated. If you are using a free account, you can actually click and make sure that you're only using a free instead of pro options. We are in a pro account right now, so you're seeing everything. And then you can also look for cutouts as well. So just those three little bars there will get you all those options. Awesome. Okay. So we're going to make a digital display ad. So from there, we're doing something that is digital. So we were working in an inch space because we were looking at print. We will look in pixels. That's what you would like, what you want to use for digital. We're at 300 by 300. And Jay, tell me, what are we making an ad for? E-trip. Awesome. Let's actually see what Canva recommends for ad layouts. That's a great place to start if you're struggling with what you want to do. Well, let's make an ad for a ski trip. We'll look and see what templates we've got here that are working out well. I am a firm believer that less is more when it comes to display ads. 300 by 300 is not very big. So we want to keep it as simple as possible. Here, this is a great one for travel. And so obviously a tropical destination, not a ski trip, but we've got a place to start and a way to go with it. So we will utilize this. I'm not sure why this box came in so big. So we'll go ahead and edit this box down a little bit with the border weight so it goes back to what it was looking for. Jay, do you like this layout? Does this look good? Go in here. Awesome. Thanks, Jay. We're in here. We're going to look for a ski. We're going to look for a couple skiing. It's always great to utilize people as much as possible. So when you can, try to use people, faces, people connect with that more often and connect well. I think this one is going to crop well. So what we're going to do, we're going to delete out our photo. We've got our new photo in here. Oh, that's a frame itself. So that's something else that Canva does. Whoever made this template actually made this as a frame. And so what we need to do, that is really interesting. I think I picked the most complicated template that I could have chosen. Interesting. Okay. So this template, they kind of cheated. They utilized two backgrounds. And so what we saw before, we have the lady's legs and everything around it. And so this is actually utilizing the same photo in two places. So let's see if we can recreate this. So we're going to pull this in here. You can see it automatically resized a little bit. Let's kind of bring the sizing up so we know we have more photo to utilize. So now what I'm doing is matching the artboard, matching the interior photo to the rest of the artboard. And then we're going to drop the photo in behind it, which actually worked. So I really did pick the most complicated one that I could have. Now we've got some color issues here. It's hard to read our escape to, we need to change this to Winter Paradise. And we've got some color issues. We can't read that. So we've got some interesting colors here in the photo. Canva does something great for us where it will actually pull your color photos. And so it's showing some of the photos that are in the color. I think it's going to pull all of the darker colors. But let's say we want to grab the teal of this jacket. We can actually use the color pick tool. And we can go in and we can grab that. It's still probably not bright enough. So let's go after her hot pink gloves here. There we go. Now we've got something that we can read. We can do the same here. And then we could go ahead and swap these out to match more of the color photos. So then everything is aligned. If you have strong branding, I highly recommend utilizing photos and videos that are in your brand colors. So if you're doing a video shoot or a photo shoot, actually put people in your colors so that way everything kind of matches and you don't have to kind of go crazy with your brand colors. If you're doing something that has a little more play in this and you can actually utilize colors from the photography, I recommend that. It makes things more visually pleasing, easier to look at. Let's grab one more pop color since we used that hot pink. We'll go back and we'll utilize this teal here for the call button. So there we go. We've created a display ad that has visuals in it and utilizes the photo well, and then hopefully will convert to phone calls. Jean, great question on QR codes. So let's say that we want to turn this into a print ad. So for QR codes, you want to primarily utilize them for print. The one thing you don't want to utilize QR codes for is social media, because if you think about it, the majority of folks are already on their phone, so they have no way to scan that QR code. So you want to utilize QR codes for everything outside of something you would be looking at on your mobile device. Because nothing more frustrating than scrolling through Facebook, seeing a QR code that you can't scan because you're on your phone. So let's say that we want to utilize this for a print ad. Let's say let's resize it. And this is also great too. Like if you have put something together that you really love and you like the look and feel of it, and you want to convert something digital over to print, you can change your sizing up by just resizing it and kind of reworking it to have it make sense for where it's going next. So let's say that this print ad is 3 by 5. It's a newspaper ad. So we're going to resize it. Now we've got all sorts of issues with the way this person set up this template. So for a quick second here, I'm going to delete this back photo. I'm going to reorient our photo frame to the top. And when you resize something that is so drastically different, I love to kind of cheat with a bottom bar. So let's add that bottom bar in, and let's add our ski photo back and see where we need to be to get it to match up. And we're going to, since this kind of popped to the front, we're going to send it to the back. And look, we got pretty darn close there. So now we're just aligning. I'm using the lift pole here to get my alignment correct. And I'm going to keep sending things to the back. This template had a lot of layers to it. So what we could do is change up bring this back. And then send this to the back. So now we still kind of have our photo frame here. We could pull some of this information down. We can put our escape to winter paradise here. And for sake of time, I won't keep messing with this. But again, you can keep those same elements and kind of rework them. But Jean, your question about QR code, it is under elements, type in QR code generator. And Canva has an app for that. And so you can put your URL in and click generate code. You can customize it by changing the background color and the foreground color. That a great cheat for that. Like let's say you wanted this to be this light blue, you could grab that hex code and change your background color to match, and then make your foreground color white, and then you would have your QR code. So not the prettiest, but once you rework it, you could get something really nice to utilize for taking something for digital and reorienting it to print. We've got a few more minutes. What other questions do you have? Great question. There is no limit on how many times the QR code can be scanned from Canva. The only limitation to this, to the generator here, is that they are not trackable. So if you want a trackable QR code, there's paid services out there. One that I really like is Bitly, and you would want to generate your QR code from there, download it, upload it as a PNG into your Canva doc if you want to be able to measure how many people have scanned it, where they were coming from, those sorts of things. Is there a recommended font use? Jean, that's great. So in design, I recommend using no more than 1 or 2 fonts, unless you are highly skilled and have a really good eye. Keeping your font use as simple as possible is better. You'll see in this one, they were using a sans serif font. That means that it was plain, straight lines, no little feet to them. Times New Roman is a serif font that has little feet to it. Sans serif fonts are straight and simple. I recommend sans serif fonts as often as possible, because they're generally easier to read and more accessible to people. When you're in the 2 font, if you're looking at a secondary complementary font, I really like script fonts. So that would be a way to add a little bit of something into it. Since we kind of have this, on our example here, we have this kind of Polaroid photo frame. It would be really interesting to add in a handwritten looking font, as if somebody had written on the bottom of the photo. And so you could throw in, here, this one was called Holiday. Nope, that's really small. That's hard to read. Script fonts are difficult, so I really recommend using them sparingly. Here, this one kind of looks like somebody could have written that. So I don't even love that. You can see it's taking me a while to find something that you like. So put those in, but script fonts are a nice way to add a little bit of something extra to your design without cluttering up that one looks like somebody wrote that. A nice way to add a secondary font. And honestly, treat your fonts just as your visual elements. So think through how many different elements you're using, your colors, your fonts, your graphic elements. Those are all really important when you're designing. John has a question. Is Canva available for use on iOS and Windows? Great question. So Canva is a browser-based system. You can get apps on any of your mobile devices. I like utilizing Canva on desktop, and that's probably because I'm old and this is how I learned to graphic design. But I know some entrepreneurs locally who utilize Canva solely on their mobile devices. So find what works for you. They do have a desktop version that you can use, but I really like Canva just in the browser. So I'm just in Chrome. You can use any of your browsers, any of your operating systems, and download those mobile apps to utilize. And it's really nice when you're utilizing it on your mobile device that you took your video on, you can upload straight from your phone to Canva. Just make sure you've got some strong Wi-Fi or a good hotspot.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Alex. You are always a wealth of knowledge, and we are privileged to have you participate and help us with our new knowledge classes. Oh, wait. Now I've got 2 or 3 or 4 new messages. Let's see. Oh, they're saying thank you. So all of our invitees today have apparently really enjoyed your information, and you always break it down so that we understand it. Those of us who are not using these apps, you make it very easy to understand, and we appreciate that. We will have another new knowledge in December, but before then, we are all going to experience Thanksgiving, hopefully with some of our family and friends. And we appreciate all that you do, Alex, to help us with the new knowledge. And we appreciate all of the participants for being interested enough for keeping our program going. And that's very important. If there are any requests that you would have for the coming year, we have a few slots open that we haven't filled. So feel free to send an email to Jean and let her know what you'd like to see, and maybe we can find somebody. But I think letterpress is going to be our next speaker in December. So we look forward once again to participating in your wealth of knowledge. And we thank you very much.
Thank you. Happy to do it.
You all have a great Thanksgiving.
Thanks, Kathy. You too.